Question first. Complete the following statements. So the statements are: A. Two line segments are congruent if B. Among two congruent angles, one has a measure of 70 degrees. The measure of the other angle is C. When we write angle A equals angle B, we actually mean what? What does this word congruent means? Congruent means same figure with same size. As you can see here, this is line segment AB. Line segment is represented with dots on both ends because its length is finite. That is, we can measure it. This line is very similar to line CD. That is, if you pick up this point and put over it, it will completely cover this line segment CD. That is, this B point will fall over point D. So that means congruent. And for lines, we have studied in this exercise, if two line segments have same or equal length, as it was the case here, and also the question is asking the same thing, they are congruent. Also, if two line segments are congruent, they have the same length. That is, converse is also true. That is, opposite is also true. If you are given that a line segment is congruent to some other line segment, that means they have same or equal length. Therefore, the answer is they have same length. B. Among two congruent angles, one has a measure of 70 degrees. The measure of other angle is again 70 degrees. Congruent means having same shape and same size. That is, if this angle, that is angle CBA, is 40 degrees and there is another angle that is also 40 degrees, no matter how much long their arms are, because we are only focusing on angles. This means if you hold this angle and place over angle Q, then this angle, that is CBA, will cover angle RQP exactly. So that is your B part. C. When we write angle A equals to angle B, we actually mean that measure of angle A is equal or congruent to measure of angle B. That is, we eliminate this longer process. We simply write this, but we actually mean that measure of angle A, that is equal to measure of angle B. As in case of this example, that is angle A equals 40. This actually means that measure of this angle A, or in this case angle B, is equal to 40 degrees, and that is equal to angle Q. And by saying that, we actually mean that this angle is congruent or equal to this angle. So that is all about congruency of lines and angles. That is your first. Question 2. Give any two real life examples for congruent shapes. Again, what are congruent shapes? The shapes which are exactly similar in appearance, in length, that is, which can cover each other by leaving nothing extra. So you can take these biscuits or cookies, whatever you want to call them. So they appear similar in shape and size. That is, if you place this biscuit over this, then and you watch it from the top, you will find that this bottom one is covered by the top one. Similarly, another example could be letter pad sheets. These are the exactly similar looking sheets which are present in your letter pad. So there are numerous other examples of congruent shapes. You just have to keep in mind that congruent means having same shape and same size. You won't call any figure as congruent if they have same shape but different size. So that is your second. Third, if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle FED under the correspondence ABC is corresponding to FED, write all the corresponding congruent parts of the triangles. The question says here is that we have two triangles, namely triangle ABC and triangle FED. And there is a correspondence. Correspondence is nothing but a relationship that shows the kind of congruency between any two triangles. So it says that ABC is congruent to FED. In congruency and mathematically, we write it as triangle ABC is congruent. This is the sign of congruent. What does it mean? It actually means that this triangle is exactly like triangle FED. And important thing in congruency of triangle is that their correspondence must follow. That is, angle A is congruent to angle F. It is not like that angle A is congruent to angle E. That will be wrong. In detail, it means that if you pick up this angle and try to place it on F, then only this triangle will be totally covered by this triangle. Whereas if you keep this angle at position E or D, it may not cover itself properly. Here it will, because we have taken equilateral triangle, but in other triangles it may not be possible. Therefore, various other corresponding congruent parts of a triangle are formed, which we have to answer. So angle A is congruent to angle F because according to this correspondence, and angle B is corresponding to angle E. Similarly, angle C is corresponding to angle D. So the same has been written here. This means correspondence or the corresponding congruent relationship. Well, we have told the relationship of angles, but there is one other thing that is also congruent, that is the sides. So in triangle we have two things, angles and sides. So in congruency of a triangle, we have angles congruent as well as sides congruent. They must also be arranged in same order. That is, AB is congruent to FE. You cannot say that AB is congruent to ED. That will be wrong because that cannot cover this triangle exactly. Then BC is congruent to ED and AC is congruent to FD. So the same has been written here. So in congruency of triangle, this thing plays a vital role, that what is the correspondence relationship given to you. You have to name the sides and angles according to that correspondence relationship. So that is your third. Question 4. If triangle DEF is congruent to triangle BCA, write the parts of triangle BCA that correspond to the following. This question is very similar to the previous one. Again, we are given with two triangles and a correspondence relationship. So we have triangle DEF. So we constructed two triangles DEF, and another one is triangle BCA. So BCA. Had it been like CBA, then we would have considered this B as C and B and A. Therefore, correspondence plays a very vital role in congruency of triangles. Now write the parts of triangle BCA that correspond to. So we have to find those parts that are associated with this triangle to this triangle. So angle E. So now we have to find those parts in this triangle which are associated with this triangle or which are correspondent to this triangle. So angle E. Since the correspondence relationship is this, you can also see directly from this. Even if you don't draw these figures, you can directly see from here. Just you have to keep in mind the pattern. So D is correspondence to B, but we are asked to find E. So E is with C. Similarly, you can also observe this in the figure as well. E is to C. Therefore, you write E is correspondence with angle C. Then EF. Now it was asking in terms of angle. It is in terms of side. So line segment EF. This is your EF. Again, you can also do it even without this figure. EF will be your CA. It won't be your BC or BA. So EF is congruent to CA, line segment CA. The same has been written here. Now again, talking in terms of angle. So angle F is congruent to what? Angle A. Similarly, from the figure, F to A. So angle A. The last part is side. Line segment DF. This is your DF and this is your DF. Similarly, you will take here as well. BA. Line segment BA. Also from the figure, DF line segment and BA line segment. So always keep in mind the pattern. The pattern is the same name of correspondence. So in this way, you solve congruency of triangle concept. And that is your last question, question number 4.